Why did those of us raised years ago not ever demand change of our parents? Was it the fact that we were raised to honor our parents? And we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt it was going to be a cold day in hell before our parents would ever ask advice or allow us to give input into their lives? Think about it. You ever walk up to your grandma and say, "Grandma, I don't like the way you crochet. I want you to knit me a blanket"? Your mom and dad would have whacked you, and you probably would have buried you in the backyard. You don't talk to your grandma like that. And I think today, our kids want us to change. They want us to do things different. They don't like us as we are. And I say sometimes we don't like ourselves the way we are, so we decide when we're going to take those steps and go in a different direction. But I have to say, the only time I ever begged my father to change was when he was so deep into his drinking that at the height of 6'2" he was 130 pounds. And I knew that he was on his deathbed. It's a miracle he survived. Now, my dad didn't start drinking again, I should say, until after my parents divorced. Now, don't get me wrong, when we were little, my dad was an alcoholic, got into some trouble. My mom made him promise to stop drinking, and then he did. And so I don't even know how old I was, 7 to 12. Maybe he was sober during that time. And so then when they got divorced, he picked it up again. And he would come and see us, on Saturdays just to go out to eat. And then we would go back home because he was living with my grandma. And there was no room at the end for us kids, so, and it was just the way it was. And I remember I did call him up because I didn't want to live with my mom. So I called him and he said no, etc. And he just, after he left my mom's house, he never owned his own home. He just went to live with my grandma and then in an apartment, but it was a 1-bedroom, so there was still no room in his inn. But even through all of that, I never asked my dad to change. I think most important, I wanted him to take care of himself. The years of him drinking, if anyone has had this experience, were so bad. The one thing that comes to mind is what I did is I went to Al-Anon. I learned how to set healthy boundaries, and I disconnected in that way. And I said to my family, I can't take care of Dad. And so when it came down to it, I had him sober for 2 hours. We were at the zoo with my kids, and he went into DTs. I got him to the hospital, and that was it. So there were times I begged of him to stop drinking or to take care of himself, or what can I do? But outside of that, no, not really. So if you are, for the most part, a productive citizen, you're kind, you do your thing and mind your own business, and you don't wreak havoc in this world, no one should be asking you to change. Why? Because that would mean you would have to adjust your true nature and makeup, and why would you want to do that? It doesn't make sense. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Don't allow anyone else the opportunity to come and demand things of you. Why? Because that's just the way it is. So anyways, that's all I've got, and I will be back.